Hey everybody, Ryan FMG here, and today we get a new balance update that's going to be implemented hopefully in about a week whenever the new version of the Teppen app comes out. Usually that's kind of the first of the month or something, and that is very exciting because I love when balance updates come out, especially in the meta right now. There are some things that need to change and need to get a nerf. I'm looking at Black Destroy decks, maybe some Fate of the Unworthy, or Ashford, or Alfred, or Orochi will be nerfed, and that will open up the meta and hopefully make it healthier overall. And there's a lot of other things that could be changed, but Black Destroy is on my mind of the things that should be nerfed. And when we go down to the little list of what cards are going to be changed, there's only 5 cards. 3 are buffs and only 2 are nerfs, and none of them are black cards that are being nerfed, and that feels very bad. So today's a great day that we get a balance update notice, but it feels very unfortunate because I don't know if this is really what the meta and the players want and or need. But why don't we talk first about the 5 cards that are being changed, and then I'll kind of give my overall thoughts about where Teppen is with balance and maybe what we could do to hopefully push the developers and the game into a better direction. First up is Grizzled Veteran is being nerfed. The only thing that is changing is a big thing. The X now caps as X equals 7. So therefore, your growth, if you've growth 12 times, nope, this is only doing 7 damage. I like this change a lot. Does this nerf this card to the ground? No, it is definitely still a good card. For MP cost of 2, dealing 7 damage across the board is very good. Yes, this is a build-around card because you do have to be playing growth and get the X equals 7 with all the growth triggers. But with Amaterasu, Great Divine Intervention, and all these great growth units, it's not that detrimental for you to build around, nor that hard. So I like this change overall. The other card that's getting nerfed is Molsters. I'm kind of surprised that this card is being changed because in my mind this isn't too overpowered or broken or anything like that. What is changing is it used to cost 1 MP and now it's costing 2 MP. I don't think this change is necessary. There's a lot of other cards that I wish that would be changed. But overall, sure, if you wanted to change this card, I think it's fine, right? I think 1 MP actions can be very broken very fast because 1 MP is very, very cheap in Teppen. You net 1 MP in just a couple seconds. So changing it to 2 MP, does this make this card unplayable? No. If you are in the market for Molsters, by and large, you will still be playing this card even when it costs double the amount of MP. Now let's talk about the buffs. They all are legendaries, and there's 3 of them. And yes, I don't love that they're all legendaries, because that maybe just makes more decks want to play more and more legendaries, and that may or may not be a good thing. But I will give credit where credit's due. I think balance updates are good. I think nerfs are very, very good and very needed sometimes. However, I think it's great to throw in some buffs as well as nerfs. Because, hey, if a card's not seeing that much play, and there's a way to make it better and not broken, why don't you try that out? There's not much to lose. And then especially when Teppen has hero powers, let's try to buff those out too. So I will give credit where credit's due. I like that we are seeing more buffs. However, I really like to see some more nerfs in this patch. But let's talk about the buffs right now. The first one is Dual Dragon Hado. Before, this cost 4 MP. Now it costs 2 MP. The text stays the same. So basically now is 2 MP action, deal X damage to an enemy unit where X is the number of friendly units on the field plus 3. This reduces it by half. And now Dual Dragon Hado is a very good card because base level, there's at least 1 unit on the field because you're targeting a unit, right? This is all... Oh, sorry. Big change that just triggered in my mind. Before, it was MP4, deal X damage to an enemy unit where X is the number of units on the field plus 3. However, there is a change to the text. It's MP2, deal X damage to an enemy unit where X is the number of friendly units on the field. Oh, this changes things a lot. This is not just me being gimmicky. I literally skimmed over the friendly part. Okay, so now that it costs 2 MP, base level, it is 2 MP to deal 3 damage. That's pretty good, but we have other things that are better, like Trust Aim Suspicion and Rescuer's Bullet, stuff like that. However, if you have 1 unit on the field, this will do 4. If you have 2 units on the field, this does 5 and then 6. So overall, I do think Dual Dragon Hado will be a very good card because base level of 3 to 6 damage is pretty darn good for just 2 MP with no downside at all. So it's definitely a lot less powerful than I originally thought, but still is pretty darn powerful. Advanced Artifact X, another card that when I was doing my tier list of legendaries a little bit ago, I think I gave this like a D or F. It's say with Jewel Dragon Hado. Maybe someone was looking at my tier lists. So what changes with Artifact X? Before it was MP cost 6, it was a 5/5. Victory acquired the abilities of defeated units. Now it is MP cost 5, so it's reduced by 1. Attack is a 4/5, so it lost 1 attack point. And now it says when played, give another random friendly unit plus 5 HP. Plus 5 HP is a lot. Victory, gain the ability of defeated unit once only. So there's a lot going down. Going from 6 MP to 5 MP is pretty darn good because now this can even see play in dual color decks. Going from 5 attack to 4 attack, that's actually a really big decrease because this is a victory trigger. So going down 1 attack is a lot bigger for X compared to some other units. The when played, give a random friendly unit plus 5 HP, that's pretty good. To note is another random friendly unit, so this cannot pump himself. So that's pretty good. I don't like victory triggers that much, especially because it takes so much to build to, and now that you're capping at this, that this only gets 1 ability, that's a big downside because you can't live the dream of like, oh, this gets revenge and heavy pierce and all these things. It's just one dream that you can have. So overall, I do think this makes X more powerful, but I'm still not sure if he's going to see that much play. The last card to talk about is Steel Headsman. Before this was 5 MP for 4/4 with agility. It said when played, if your deck has 5 or less cards, gain plus 12 HP. When your opponent uses an action card, deal 2 damage to this unit. A lot of things are getting changed. It still costs 5 MP. It still has 4 attack. However, it only has 3 HP now. Still has agility. It still has a when played ability. However, this is if your deck is 10 or less cards, it gets plus 9 HP. And it doesn't have the deal 2 damage to this unit anymore. Overall, these changes make this card very scary and very powerful because MP 5, okay, so still pretty cheap. It still has agility, which is great. It's a 4/3, which is a pretty decent body, but you play this now when your deck has 10 or less cards, and getting to 10 or less cards when your starting deck size is 30 is a lot easier than 5 or less cards. So, you just play some Cursed Choices and, a couple mill cards, and you could easily turn Steel Headsman on, and then you get plus 9 HP. So this becomes a 4/12 with agility that has then no downside of dealing 2 damage to this unit whenever your opponent plays an action. This card is going to be a fast, heavy hitter beater. Now, if you play this before your deck has 10 or less cards in it, it's a 4/3 with agility. That's going to get killed pretty fast. For 5 MP, that's probably not what you want to be playing. But with some deck building decisions when you're putting this into your deck, I think this card is going to become a very, very big player. Overall, this balance update is pretty unfortunate in my opinion. We only got 2 nerfs. Grizzle Veteran got nerfed, and I think that is a good nerf, and I like how they nerfed it, and I thought it did need to get a decrease of power level. The other one is Molsters. I like how they changed it. I'm not opposed to it being changed, but definitely if you're like, hey, could you change 10 cards? I don't think Molsters would be on there. And like I said in my intro, I will give credit where credit's due. I like that they are trying to buff underutilized cards or hero powers, but cards in this example. Now, maybe it shouldn't always be legendaries where these 3 were legendaries, but overall, I like that they are trying to buff things, and I definitely want them to know, like, hey, it's cool that you're buffing things. Let's kind of keep that trend going. However, why I'm disappointed is not because you're buffing things. That is great. Keep doing that. It's because you're nerfing things that maybe shouldn't be nerfed. Well, not really. These 2 things are fine being nerfed. But you're not nerfing things that definitely need to be a nerf. A lot of players are kind of very unhappy with this meta, and I'm kind of am too, because of all the Black Destroy decks. And of course there's other things, but Black Destroy kind of has its biggest target on its head for being the most outrageous, because you have the Alfreds, you have the Ashfords, you have all the recursions, you have new broken legendaries with Oichi, and then of course you still have Orochi that has been terrorizing the villagers for the past, 3+ months, and having none of those cards being nerfed feels very, very questionable, aka bad. Where why aren't those cards being nerfed? Do the devs think that they are completely fine and that they're like, oh no, the community is just kind of being silly, like there's ways to counteract them? I don't know what the devs are thinking, and I want to know. You know what? I want to know what the devs are thinking, and maybe this segues into maybe there needs to be more open communication of the devs telling us why they're changing things and what cards they're changing and why they picked those cards and why they're doing the changes that they are doing. And then maybe like, hey, we hear you that you really want Alfred or Ashford or Orochi nerfed, but this is why we're not doing it, but we're keeping an eye on it, possibly. I would love more of a communication path between the community and the makers and the developers of the game, because right now, there kind of seems a big disconnect, and this balance update article is kind of highlighting that disconnect of the devs doing something and all of the community being excited and be like, wait, what? This is what you're changing? Oh no. But maybe if they told us why they're doing those things, I'm not saying the community still would be unhappy, but it would be a step in the right direction. Along with that step in the right direction, I of course think there's other ways that, rather than just communication, there's play design and play testing that maybe needs to be implemented. Like, how much play testing do they do with these cards? I'm not sure, but maybe it's hiring more people to do more testing, so then less outrageous cards being printed. And you could hire players or other game designers and stuff to do that. So maybe the next Orochi is like, you know what, this Orochi's broken, let's change it. Because in playtesting, we found out that it was broken. Let's change it. To be fair, maybe Teppen does playtesting, but I think they need to up their ante. I really, really do, with their play design and their playtesting and their balanced philosophy. I think opening up the communication will help with, the community feeling like they're being heard a little bit more. But also it is, hey, you need to just, really dig deep and figure out the philosophy and the power level of the cards. Because, hey, if you want Orochi and you're okay with that power level, well, then give green Orochi and red Orochi and stuff like that. I'm not saying you should do that, but at least be a little bit more even-keeled along all the colors and stuff like that. And, when that comes to it, that's design philosophy and or playtesting. And if they have those in their team, maybe they just need to up the ante and hire more people and just do it that way. That's enough about that little rant. What I will say to end this stream is, yes, I know I'm being a little bit more negative, but it's okay to be negative sometimes as long as you are being constructive. And if anyone watching this is not happy with this balance update, let the Teppen devs know, let Teppen know, but be polite and be constructive. Don't just say, hey, this is stupid and I don't like this, wham, 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 because no one's going to listen to that. Say, hey, this is cool that you're trying to buff things, but maybe nerfing things, or this is why the game's a little unfun right now, or a little stale. Let the devs, let the developers know your concerns, let them know your concerns and what you like about their game, and always do it in a nice, polite way, because guess what? People are going to listen to you if you're being nice and polite a lot more. And I really want that open communication. I want Teppen to get better. So let people know, as long as you're saying the please and thank yous, as it were, because those things go a long way. But that's enough. This video has been a little bit longer. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.